That fell out of the box. That's not mine. I swear. I mean, no, it's not mine. It's too big. Full install on the Ring Video Doorbell Elite. So I've been fortunate enough that Ring have turned around and sent me an absolute abundance of stuff, which we'll be doing some videos. I've used Ring for years. I've always bought my own Ring stuff. I've had the cameras, I've had the doorbells, I've had the alarm system. We've got some stuff at the unit, some stuff at my old house. But within the new house, I've always had an eye on this Elite doorbell, which I'll run you through the specs in a second. But because I can make a mess, I can put cables in, it's the ideal opportunity. This is the Video Doorbell 3 that I've used. I had one at the old house and we're currently using one at the house. This is a battery operated doorbell that works through Wi-Fi, and every now and then obviously the battery goes flat, you replace it. I had 3 batteries, or have 3 batteries that with a bay charger that I just switched between the 2. The next one, this is the one I have at the unit. This is the Doorbell Pro 2. This is a wired unit, takes no batteries, and it's also through Wi-Fi. Easy to install, anyone could do this. It's literally just 2 screws on the back and away you go. So this requires a 16 to 24 volt supply. So this can be used off an existing doorbell that's currently in, or you just run a new one in with a DIN mail mounted transformer, which you just put within the fuse board or a separate enclosure. And then this is the new beautiful one. So this is the Ring Video Doorbell Elite, and I've got loads of specs that I can run through and the comparison while I'm doing this between all 3. This is a flush mounted doorbell system that runs through PoE. Not only going to run through the positives, because I try and be as fair as I can on the channel, I'm also going to give the negatives. The original battery doorbell, the Doorbell 3, anyone can install, DIYers, literally anyone. Wired Doorbell 2 is, you know, if you've got some formal knowledge of how to connect, especially if you've got an old wiring system for a doorbell, most of the time you can switch between the 2. You might have to change out or link through the transformer, because UK doorbells normally run, I think, around 12 volts. This obviously requires 16 to 24, but then the Doorbell Elite realistically has to be done by someone within the trays that has knowledge of working with Ethernet cables. As a Spark, I know I'm going to get shouted at by other data guys. I know bits enough with data, but running through PoE with the DC power supply that we're going to run back to the board. If you haven't seen any of my stuff yet, I have ran from this comms cab here. We've got a Cat6 cable that runs all the way throughout the property to the front, which is all coiled up. In a little bit, we're going to turn around, pick a few floorboards up, drill through, flexible conduit through the cavity, cut the brick out, connect it up. If there's any problem in the future, years down the line, if the Cat6 cable breaks, gets damaged, or I want to upgrade it, let's say to Cat 7 or 8, just saying, in 15, 20 years time, never know, it's very easy for me to do. So opening this up, the downside, I would say, to any UK installation is, obviously Ring is an American company, and American houses are predominantly wooden or cavity, thin. I know what I'm trying to get at, but you'll see why I'm on about this in a second. So this is the actual doorbell itself, and the reason it looks the way it looks and it's as slim as the way it looks is because it's recessed within the wall. And why I said about UK houses and American houses is you have what we would call a pattress, dry lining box, fast fix box, a plastic box that goes within the wall, and as you screw it, it pinches. But obviously I have a brick wall. So that means I'm going to make a pretty substantial hole within the brickwork. This is where I've already drilled up through and up into the cavity between the 2 layers of bricks. And this is my lad's room. We've already had the floor up, and what we will do is pass through some flexible conduit, FlexiCon, all the way to here. But I've stopped myself from doing that because realistically, I need to cut that into my brickwork, cure that in place, and then bring the Flexi conduit in. Jump into video resolution, 1080p, 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 all HD. What is the difference is the field of view. Connectivity, we've got 2.4 gigahertz on the Wi-Fi, 2.4 gigahertz on the Wi-Fi. This is 2.4 and 5, and obviously it's PoE, so it's through the internet as well. Right, let's have a mooch. So we got that, we got that. I just have put it all back in there to start this bit, I don't know why. Different bezels as well. We've got a brown one, matte, we've got silver, we've got like a cream one, obviously the most delicious one, the matte black one. This here is our Ethernet in and PoE injector. So power in, internet out. Obviously that's just a light indicator to say you've got that. Runs at 15.5 watts. And my only concern with all of this, if you're not an electrician, you've probably not heard this before, but when you run long lengths of cable, the longer the cable, the more volts drop you will get. So here I have got quite a substantial run across the doorbell, when from here to there is quite short, but unfortunately, I can't just drag a cable across there. So I'm hoping that the Cat6 I've put in is going to be adequate enough. It's Cat6 and it's not CCT, it's the solid core cables. I think I'm getting that correctly. So we'll get less volt drop, pushing across there, and fingers crossed we've got enough power the other end. If not, what I'll end up doing is moving the power supply away from the fuse board, move it more into the house in a cupboard. I have got, if you've seen the other videos, or I haven't released it yet, there's sort of comms access smart cab going under the stairs, which is obviously substantially closer, but we'll all find out together in the video. Installation kit, you got your classic ring screwdriver stuff. Ooh. Oh, okay, I'll play with you later. And maybe use it on the doorbell as well. And then Ethernet connection kit. Come on. So like all Ring products, you've got your different plugs. That's our bad boy right there. And then we've got our power supply. It would be nice to see if I can match this up and do a DIN rail mounted one so it can go within the enclosure. But for today, I'm just going to use this bad boy. Just rip that. This is your instructions and stickers. And then they give you a pre-made Ethernet cable, so that's your links which will go into your internet in. So that's made like that, so if you're putting this near your router or your router, whatever you want to call it, in your house, that would link through, and then this will link through the other end across to this. But for the time being, I don't need that, but it's too nice to throw away, so you can go back in the box. That fell out of the box. That's not mine, I swear. I mean, no, it's not mine, it's too big. Your RJ45 connector, which is obviously what we're going to go in. But this is if you have an old doorbell system to link through the existing chime in. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm pretty sure that's that. How dirty my hands are already. Keep having to cover up the QR codes in case someone else tries to scan it off their screen. I know full well that this is not going to work in my brick wall. So I'm just get these lugs and screws out of the way. And I'm interested to see how I'm going to do it. I've sort of got an idea about how we're going to secure this in. This is why I have gone and got this out of the van. If we have to stick it in, I'd rather not use that because I don't think it'll ever come back out again, or this won't come out in one piece. I'm tempted just to drill some side holes here, and we will then screw at an angle into the brick to pinch it in. And this will have to sit on the surface, so we'll have some form of fixing on the face, and then this will go on and cover up that lip. But even still, that should be showing. But then the termination to attach this back to this is with these screws. So if I really wanted to, I could notch them off. We shall see. There's a current bad boy, but it's worked well. It really has. Like I said, the only downside to it is just the battery life. That's it. If you get yourself a couple of batteries, no problem at all. Put this in. Keep on top of it. It'll always notify you when it's going flat. It does struggle sometimes if you don't have good Wi-Fi. I've got access points all the way through the house. That's the hallway there. And I've not had an issue at all with moving here and having it here. So what I'm going to try and do with this is, where I've drilled this through, is keep within the mortar lines. Ideally, if I can get rid of this bit. I can multi-tool that off. That's not necessary. And this bit, because I don't need the lugs, which will allow me to do a single brick, bringing that through there. So I'm verbalising this out to everyone and myself at the same time. And annoyingly, with this brick is stepped out. To try and get the cleanest cut, I've got this, and I've used it before. It's grout and abrasive cutter. I've used it on tiles before, but I have used it on a brick the other day when I actually blew a brick through and I had to cut the corner off to glue it back in, and it's absolutely amazing. So we'll see if we can get a clean edge. If not, I'm going to stitch drill it. Right, let's have a go, shall we? Perfect on the sides. It's just shave a bit more of the bottom. It's the top flat. Right, we're in there. Now it's these top and bottom notches, which I will have to keep. So this is where the multi-tool will come back in, where it's such a minute amount, but we can get it nice and square and proper. Get that in. Width, it's nice and snug either side. Running the multi-tool down it with that blade in has really helped with non-chipping. Obviously when I put the 5.5 bit in, or the 6 bit, whatever it was, normally as you push through, as here, sort of it lifts the surface of the brick up and pulls it because of the thread on the drill bit. But by taking the edge off has really helped that. I mean, you see how good that's come out. A hole. Oh, it's like I'm an electrician. Now I want to see if I'm going to be able to see this blue around the edge of this. The front looks awesome, looks nice. Yeah, I can see the blue at the top and at the bottom. So I'm going to do what I probably shouldn't do, is cut these tabs off there and there. Obviously these are my fixing holes for the back of this. And then I'm going to do a hole here and hole here, drill at an angle, so this could be pinched in place and this could be pushed a little bit more into the wall. And if I've got some, not on me, but you know the threshold strip that you have for fire doors, like the seal strip that's got glue on it, I might run that around the edge as well after the fact. We'll see if I've got anything. Holes are cut. If you ever drill something like this, like I could have spent all this time and effort and attention of getting it as perfectly flush and nice cut, and then I could go and ruin it all by jamming the SDS in here and it blowing the bricks out either side. So you gotta go steady. Last but not least, because this is the way I am, I hate that this is blue and you might be able to see edges, so I've got a bit of black spray paint. I'm gonna get this sprayed up, and while this is drying, we can go in there, grab the Flexicon, pull it out, do all the lovely stuff. So if you haven't seen this before and you're not Spark, this is Rod's fishing kit. We've got a metal chain on the end. We'll poke that down the cavity and on the other end, and then from down here through the hole, we've got a magnet which will tap onto the chain. I could pull it through. So here we have an absolutely delightful black and blue box. This is a gland for our flexi conduit. We've got absolutely loads of cable, which is fine. Preempted that. Just measured the cavity with the brickwork for the flush of that to this. Absolutely plenty of room for that to sit here. And then I think we've got another, I mean, what's that? 10 inches or so behind it for it to spin round. So, and I've checked where the Ethernet goes in. And we're getting there. Excuse the really scroggy hands. I've got a new set of Ansel gloves turning up soon, and the problem is I've just greased the SDS, so it's not here. I greased the SDS recently, and because I end up holding the spade bit to try and steady it up a bit, I end up getting this low. Ed, shut up, Nick, no one cares. All that hard work and effort, I put a boot on it, and the boot doesn't allow it to sit back. I'm an idiot. At least you lot can watch this now and go, yeah, don't do that. Yeah, I thought might this be the case. That wasn't English. Yeah, my screws aren't long enough. Oh, let me get some more. So that's it. I literally just put 2 little wood screws in it. It's in, it's flat, it's flush, it's nice, it's matte black, it's just very nice. Being on brick, you've got the 2 bits you can see on the mortar, and we've got the same thing the other side, hence why I wanted to spray it black. That bit's done. We've got your bendy screwdriver is for, obviously, bending up and round to do that, but I need to get the front off because I need to scan it in a little bit, but let's go and do all the other malarkey in here. Coming to this part, so anyone who's not me, realistically won't have this in the house. So you would have your internet, your router, in your lounge, dining room, wherever it is. In the back of that, in one of the ports, you would put that little link cable that we showed at the beginning, the orange one, into the back of that. Then the other end would go into internet in, which is there. And then the other bit, my cable that runs all the way around, which is this doorbell one here, will plug into doorbell. And then we put the plug, which is there, into this. Bit different with me here because my current setup with my internet, my router is actually in the loft. And currently there's cables, which I've got hideous amounts. So the orange ones are my hardwired data for the bedrooms and everything. Red ones are hardwired CCTV. Even though I've got the Ring stuff, this was put in just in case. On top of it as well, I'm gonna put some cameras on the soffits at some point. We've got access points, and then we've got the doorbell. We do have one access point that I temporarily wired in when we moved into the property, which is here. So I do have a hardwired cable there, but I also have 2 feeds. So these 2 here, feed 1, feed 2, go from here all the way across here. And then there's some flexi conduit up there that feed into the cavity. Very similar thing that I've done in the bedroom coming down to the doorbell, but they go all the way up into the loft to the router. So what I'm gonna do, because I wanna bring the internet down here because this will be my switch at some point, I'm gonna go put some RJ45s on the end of that, do it temporary, get it linked down here. And then for the time being, I'll use this and the plug top to power this, but hopefully I can find a transformer, which I do have the Navitas one here, which could potentially work, to bring power to this. I could potentially keep this all in one place up here rather than having it sat on the side on the plug top. Up in the wonderful loft. So this is where I've got so far. We're bringing all the feeds through the cavity in Flexicon, but this is what we're after. These are our 2 feeds. They should be labelled, feed 1 and feed 2, up and over, CCTV, access points, loads of new wiring. I'm not even gonna go through that. It's all floodlight stuff. So for temporary wise, I'm gonna whiz that up, across, down, over to the router, and in the switch, just over there, we've got 2 spare ways. Okay, we're on the final hurdle. That's plugged in. I've done this a little setup up here. Power, light, Ring device, in, feed, in, and now I presume we just go to the doorbell and go through the usual steps, go on the app, scan the QR code, link it up. She was just speaking, but I've just missed it. You got the light on. I'm gonna go ahead and set up this, ready to scan. Yes, I'm ready to scan. You lot can't see this, but I'm going to scan all this and I will jump back shortly. Well, that took absolute seconds. Oh, it's already giving me motions. Alrighty then, skip for now. You can do optimize, so you know you can blur out your neighbour's garden, all that sort of stuff. I'll just do it all later. I'm done. Kevin! What are you doing, bro? Don't show me up. Come on. Right, do the finishing bits. Got our bendy screwdriver. That looks wicked compared to that. That is easy to install and a hell of a lot cheaper than that, but massive fan. Right, last 2 things to finish this off. On the settings as well, because I wanted to confirm that it wasn't through Wi-Fi, because it can do both. Go into device health and you go to the top and it does say connection type. It does say Ethernet. So I wanted to make sure that it was connected through the PoE, through the Ethernet, through that, rather than trying to connect to the Wi-Fi itself, which is perfect. And then lastly, so price. So this is the negative as well. Obviously negative, big hole in your wall. And if you don't know what you're doing, I would say like me, but I've done this long enough to be able to do the right size with the right tools and the patience to do it the way I've done it. You are putting a big hole in the wall. And then the last negative, the cost. So if you go to the doorbell, the battery doorbell, your approximate price, you can pick one up for £85 to £100. The Wired Pro 2, you're looking at £50 to £60 because obviously there's no battery. And then lastly, the Elite, you're looking between £330 to £380, depending where you are. I'm trying to say but to justify it. It's an expensive piece of kit. I never have to charge it. It's recessed in. Is there any difference for me in a house between the Wire Pro 2 or the Elite, other than the visuals? Not really. That's right, someone's just driven up and I've got notification in my ear. So between the two, if you've got a hardwired system, I would say personally for myself, the Wired Doorbell Pro 2 will be more beneficial for someone that's not a bit more tech savvy. You're a bit more tech savvy, that's the one to go. Enjoy the video, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and you've got more Ring videos to come very soon. Love you, bye.